follow me down, head into the unknown, down the rabbit hole, where it stops no one knows. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown.
Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing today? What a day. Am I right? It's been crazy. Phone's been going nonstop, nonstop. Hey, Melissa, how's it going today? I know you're not feeling well, but thank you so much for joining today.
Hello.
What was that?
I said hello, everybody.
So what are you doing? What are you thinking? How's it going?
Well, I spent most of my day fighting a fever, but I think this is a good step in a direction of hopefully more charges coming.
Right. Um, so let's just take a second here to welcome everybody in. There's a lot of people that, I mean, some people thought that this live stream was going to be for yesterday, and originally it was, and then I had stuff come up yesterday. I couldn't do a live at a decent hour, and then today I had something else planned until I woke up this morning to this news. So, um, granted, I did send the information to the creators group. We were going to do a live together, but I had other things that I needed to do. Sunny's working, so the mega panel that we had originally thought would be a good idea didn't happen. So um, here I am, and I'm sure Sunny will do a live stream tomorrow. She's really, this is such as life, right? I mean, things usually happen at the worst possible moment for people, and Sunny was busy working, and I am juggling a bunch of things as well. So, and of course, Melissa not feeling well, so we're just doing it. We're getting through it today. So, like I said, a lot of people thought this was going to be for yesterday, but it is what it is. Kelly, thanks for being here. And Carol, hey Sharon and Addie, hey Crackerjacks. Haven't seen you for a long time. Good to see you. And Helicopter Grandma. Sharon Parker, thank you. Hey Jam and Grin, good to see you. Hey Bonnie, Snoop Sisters, April Lambert. Basically, yeah, everybody but Daniel, you bet. Harley is here. He's on the floor beside me. Hey, Betty. Seawood, good to see you. Hey, TJ's mom. Who else do we have? Little Black Bear, good to see you. Hey, Nurse. Cold Burn. Detective Tam. Hey. You were pulled over yesterday? What'd you do? Sky Painter. I'm worried that Daniel is thinking of unaliving himself. Ange, good to see ya. Ms. Michelle, waiting for this live. Hopefully I don't disappoint. He's on conditions, so I assume they're watching him. We'll talk about all of that. Mm, wonder what DT will say. I don't care. I don't care. Um, there are people who, I mean, we know that there are people who are uh, supportive of Daniel, and everybody needs a support system. So, I mean, that is what it is. But what I won't do is accuse any woman of lying about domestic violence or anything that they may have gone through. Just one sec. So I won't do that, and I will not accept any of that in here. You're shocked that Durwood has not been spouting his mouth off. I am sure he has been, but we just don't pay attention anymore. Like I'm sure he doesn't do it in public as much because he's looking to sue everybody. So this can put him in a tailspin mode. In my opinion, he can't see Meadow. He can't control Malehya. Crystal, good to see you. Hey. Um, I do have some information. I had the information and I was asked not to share it, but then I saw it in an article, which I will pull up, and I can share that with you. Now, next step is RCMP investigating the rest who tried to deflect. In my opinion, he also said Malehya was abusive too, so I wonder if she got in any trouble as well. Durwood needs to stay out of it. He ran stories way off tangent. None of it is useful to Jack, Lily, or Malehya. Safety and strength for his victims and prayers. This is the break that brings justice for Lily and Jack. Could get a little bit emotional, like just reading some of these comments. You know, yeah, everybody's saying hi to you, Harley. He's literally just passed out on the floor. Hey, DEA. Ritzka, good to see you. Good evening to Newfoundland. Um, this news was unexpected. Where's truth? Thanks for being here. Hey, Marie. I guess that checkbox turned out to be criminal, Daniel. Oops, who knew? So I think the checkbox that he's referring to and like the forms that I saw were like years ago, they've probably been updated, but there's no checkbox for a suspect or an individual to say whether they have criminal involvement or not. That's just not a thing. The checkbox that I remember on those forms were to let basically the laboratory know if it was a criminal investigation or not, and we all know it's not. So take that for what it's worth. Old intel from my college days. Amy, good to see you. Anybody else? Hey, Racine, good to see you. Guess the topic of the chat shifted quickly. Holy shit, my stomach is in knots. Yeah, I have been shaking and emotional all day, and I'm still internally like I can feel myself. I have my tremor anyways, but I can feel myself shake inside. It's just, it's one of those things that I feel like we're expecting to happen any day, and we didn't know what the charges were going to be or who was going to be at the other end of the charges. But when it happens, I think it's kind of jarring. So, can you believe this, Maritzka? Hopefully, he starts talking about Jack and Lily. I was stunned when I saw this. Cried so much today, yeah. Just really quickly while we're saying hello to everybody, if you haven't subbed up to Melissa's channel, I'd really appreciate it if everybody could go over. She's so close to 500 and been working on that goal for a little while now. So go over and say, hey, Teresa. Anyone remember the story with Malehya's brother and Daniel telling him to lock his girlfriend in a closet and give her coke? She was 15. The only conditions he can be put on until he actually goes to court and has been found guilty would be no contact. They can't put him on. There's more than that. He could be ordered to stay off, the internet. He could be ordered to, not view any kind of illicit material. There are certain um, conditions that can be put on somebody while they're awaiting their hearing. And when you're released on conditions after an arrest, there's definitely other conditions that can be put on you for sure. If I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry. Hey, Joyce, good to see you. And Deanna, hey. Yes, ma'am. Hopefully they keep him locked up. No, ma'am, he has been released. Roots, good to see you. Hey, Bev. And at the end of the day, Jack and Lily are still missing. We need to find them. Yes. Everybody's pumped up and happy. It just seems like the wheels are moving, but we have got to keep in our brains and the words that come out of our mouth. This arrest is not connected to Jack and Lily's disappearance. I think a lot of people have cried. I shaked like crazy when I heard. I hope this gets answers. Me and you both. True Crime Housewife, good to see ya. Hey, Tina. Sailor Moon, good to see you. Thanks for being here, Nancy. Hey, I'm ready to hear what's been going on. Hope everyone is well and safe and warm. Hopefully this news leads to more charges. Wow. Wow. I mean, it's definitely, help with my words today. Just me. Thanks for coming. Hey, Anna. They do. They are tight-lipped, and when I say we get nothing the RCMP doesn't want us to get, that's exactly what I mean, and that's exactly what it is. And people don't want to believe me. We don't get the leaks like they get in the United States. If the RCMP don't want us to have official information, we're not getting it. It is that simple. Waiting to hear from me. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Bobby Joe. Hey, Tam. Um, yep, yep. I've been taking a step back from the Durwood drama, but my eyes on for any progress showing. Right. And I think a lot of people are like that too. The drama just makes your stomach turn and your head spin, and most people can sit back and think there's still 2 kids missing, and why are people arguing and being so cruel to each other when most of us are just looking to raise awareness and keep the kids' faces out there? Why are we so distracted by the drama and the bullshit? Jack and Lily are still out there somewhere. And this is news because everybody who is invested in this case has been waiting for some kind of accountability. And even if it's some kind of accountability to some of the shit that we've heard over the last 9 months, it's a step in the right direction. And I think we should, oh man, like you can't feel happy about it, but you can feel like there's movement, and it brings hope that the RCMP are paying attention, and they're willing to do they're willing to lay charges. And people, you know, we've all wondered why nothing for neglect. Why haven't they been charged for neglect at least? And I mean, I've always thought, well, because you have to establish neglect to a criminal level with evidence to support it, to support not only an arrest, but charges and a conviction, right? And we can Google it together if you want, but I already know the RCMP decides when they want to file charges against somebody, but it has to be the Crown is the one that says, okay, we have enough, arrest him. They can prosecute this. There's enough evidence to move forward with this. Arrest him. Lay charges. Totally different than just what the RCMP, it's what they can prove, it's not what they think. Hello, Red, thanks for being here. Hey, Shirley. Lori Green, thanks for stopping in. Hey, who else? Who else? Nothing too serious, but I was speeding to get to my next client's home. It's never a good idea. Then I couldn't find my license because kiddo had dumped my purse the day before. Cop saw the toys and supplies and asked. As he held her down and didn't allow her to call her mom. That's got nothing to do with assault or sexual assault. Possibly assault, but we'll look at it. Make sure I can find it, but we'll look at it. Kim Mitchell, good to see you. Hey, Total, and you have been following this from day one, and I know this is hurting you. Sending hugs to you. Okay, so it's not hurting me. My heart hurts for Jack and Lily. My heart hurts for the entire situation. My heart hurts for the family and friends of Jack and Lily who have been a constant reminder that these children are missing. When somebody does something wrong to the point that they're arrested for it, I don't, that doesn't hurt me. It angers me. Finally get to pause and take a deep breath. Hopefully, I mean, honestly, I feel like today I wanted my thumbnail to be something about being able to exhale, but I feel even more apprehensive now than I did yesterday or last week or any other time in this entire case. This is more. This is more. This is this is so much more. Bring Jack and Lily home. Absolutely. Thanks for being here. Deeza Weasel, good to see you again. Not getting my hopes up as it is still to be tested in court. Correct. But there's still evidence. The Crown is not going to approve charges with no evidence. So you're completely right, Lori. We need to wait and see what the judge decides after hearing that evidence. But there's something to it, and it's something more than just somebody saying he did this to me. Because there have been a lot of that going around for all different things, neglect, abuse, harassment, and this is the first charge that we've seen. April, thank you. That's very nice of you. I appreciate you. Sandra, thanks for joining. Yeah, we'll go through it. No, he's not locked up. Ken, good to see you. He was arrested and charged, but released on conditions, conditional release, awaiting his hearing on March 2nd. Facts and myths, thanks for being here. Good news, if Daniel now has no contact order, it means no contact direct or indirect, so that includes Durwood and Kentwood. I'll have to leave alleged victim alone now, can't stalk her anymore. Well, I mean, if they're doing those things, acting as an agent for Daniel, then you're completely right. But if they're doing that on their own, they haven't been charged with anything yet. Yet. And I really hope this is a wake-up call. Gaspé girl, thanks for being here. Why did this ex-girlfriend all of a sudden come forward with new... This isn't the ex-girlfriend. If you're talking about Taylor, these charges are not related to Taylor. I will tell you that straight up. If it's Malehya, why 9 months to make this move? Why hasn't she had a protection order against him since she left? Do we know that she hasn't? And do we know that she didn't report it and the RCMP weren't investigating and the RCMP weren't collecting evidence to support such a charge? The fact is, we don't know. The drama as distraction was take away from the truth of Jack and Lily by many. Yes, and I couldn't figure out what the motive could have been for that. And it makes sense if these people are so deluded and so uninformed that they truly think that if the kids are never found, that nobody will ever be charged with wrongdoing. They're wrong. They're straight up wrong. But if that's what all the distraction is about, I think that this charge, even though it's not um, connected to Jack and Lily's disappearance, it should send a message that the RCMP, they're nobody's friend in this. They're here for the truth, and I believe that they're here for justice. So they're going to make sure that they get it right, but they're here to do their job. It's all just my opinion, I should say. Need Jack and Lily found and home, and these charges are one thing, but it doesn't mean he did something to the kids. Maybe something might come out, though. Like you said, if nothing else, people should know that the RCMP aren't his buddies, and they will charge him if they have evidence to do so. And maybe the biggest person that needs to learn that lesson is Daniel himself. So, too much shit, but this is a step forward and shows they're still very much on the case. Right. We need justice for Jack and Lily. God bless them both. Justice takes time. Trust the process. If there's a publication ban, God help any of them that out who the victim is. The news article that was mentioned in chat earlier, I think, although the victim has not been named, it's pretty clear. I'm infuriated, but feel a little relieved that finally something is happening. Not just that, why waste their time on just the neglect when there are far more important charges to come from all of this? Exactly. Meadow is in safe, is in a safe environment now. There are no other children in danger of being neglected. There's no imminent danger there. So I agree with you, Gren. And I've been saying all along, why would they charge anybody with neglect at this point when the kids are still missing and there could be charges related to that? You don't want to get, I don't know, don't want to handcuff yourself with some trumped up charge that you might be able to prove, might not, that barely has any kind of time or punishment associated with it. It's just my opinion, but no, he is on conditional release. In the United States, a victim can decide to press charges or not. Well, here in Canada, if the RCMP are aware of illegal behavior, they have to follow it up. They have to. I can walk into the RCMP station today and just tell a story about how my ex was abusive back in the day. If I tell them that, they have to go and deal with it. That's just the way it is. You, the victim didn't have to say, I don't want to press charges. That doesn't matter. If the RCMP know about it, they have to deal with it. And I was told that by an RCMP officer about my ex when I went in there, and they were questioning me about things and said, whatever you tell me, it doesn't matter when it happened. If it is criminal in nature, I have to follow up on it. So I know that. Crown prosecutor is the one that decides whether or not there's enough evidence to move forward. So, exactly. So, being that he was charged, the Crown prosecutor um, determined that there was enough evidence to move forward. Anybody else? Liz, everybody. So, thank you for joining, everybody. I'm sorry I'm probably missing a bunch of people. Poor Meadow, I wonder if he will be able to see. No, I would think not until these charges are dealt with. So these charges are historical from 2024 and 2025, correct? Wrong chat. I sure do hope they will be revoking his visitation rights with Meadow. If not, all hell will break loose. I'm way behind in chat. I haven't even started. Please don't say Kent stalking with Derwood now. Too much involvement. Need to deviate truth. I mean, I've heard that he's, assisting. And let me make this clear. The reason behind that, and my opinion, I guess, is because they truly believe that Malehya goes out and visits the kids. So the purpose in following her, from what I've heard, is to catch her with the kids. It's not for any kind of, you know, nefarious reasons. If they kept him in jail before his hearing, then a possible trial, the time he had spent in jail, would have been taken off any sentencing. He hasn't been found guilty yet. Let's just say that. Um, where are you? Uh, as far as subs go, Melissa, how many more do you need?
64, I think, if my math is correct.
64, 300 people in here. Can we get that 64 today, guys? Come on. Come on. It's free.
I am lagging,
Free.
so I will be right back. I'm going to restart my computer.
Okay. So I did reach out to Belynda today to see how she was feeling, and she said she's up in the clouds right now, and she's hopeful that um, this opens a new path forward for answers. Hey, Kit, good to see you. Thanks for subbing there, and anybody else, just go over and sub up real quick to Melissa. She's been working hard. She created the document for Jack and Lily. She's all over everything, so um, we definitely want to help. Just a clapping seal. Oh, that that name makes my heart smile, even though I'm so anxious right now, and I'm just so, I just, your name makes me smile. Thanks for being here, and everybody else too. We would know by now through Daniel, Durwood, Kent, or the stepsister if Malehya had a protection order against him. They all want to spill the beans. The police didn't take 9 months to investigate a domestic violence. Right. And, right. And I mean, there were certain things that happened when, if you remember, when Daniel approached Malehya at CPS, wherever they were visiting Meadow, and handed her the mail. And then he was instructed after that not to do that again. I mean, that spoke to me as like a prime opportunity for her to get a protection order if that intimidated her. but I don't know. I don't know if she did, and I don't know if she does now. However, we don't, we're not saying who the victim is, but that would be a condition to not have any contact. Someone close to me was a survivor of same charges in New Brunswick. Again, guy got a couple of years. With Daniel's background, the judge should throw the book at him, but won't. This is Canada. Charges stop just before kids. Charges stop just before kids go missing, so it's about Malehya. That's the same month Jackie had a black eye. I just have the one. My other one is my work stuff. I've got some work-related videos that I've created for work purposes. Hey, Kat, yes, sure did. Sure did. I think I'm almost at the end, and I know I've missed people, but again, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Yes, it is American Justice. When she gets back, she will put her link in the chat. If my mods or Kelly, if anybody has Melissa's link, please just like keep putting it in the chat. Let's help her. Let's help her get up there. I'm going to quickly pull up. Sorry, gotta answer a question here. Let me quickly pull up screenshots of the article, the one article, and we'll get to the other ones. And then I had decided that I was going to show, because everybody knows that I've been talking to Daniel for, you know, a number of months, just being non-accusatory and just trying to, I'm trying to, I was trying to help him open up and talk about different possibilities. And so I had decided that I was going to show some of those screenshots today, because I am tired of listening to Janie and digging into Durwood. And although I think that it could help find answers, it's like running around and chasing our own tail at some point. So I wanted to just see some of his perspective on certain things that have been kind of relevant lately that we talked about a couple of months ago. And so I'm still going to do that later, given that we have enough time. But sorry I missed the beginning. Shar, have you spoken to anyone in the family other than Belynda? Would love to hear thoughts, reactions. So I have. Um, I have. At the time of my conversation, Earl was unaware that any of this had happened. And Malehya is being very quiet, but her family is also emotional, put it that way. Um, but what can you say? What can you say? So you say the CTV article, it's CTV. Mhm. 4 hours ago. Okay. Just looking for Melissa here, seeing if she's doing okay, if she got lost in the metaverse. All right. Let's see here. This could be it, might not be it, but we are going to watch a little a little news thing. Helicopter, thank you so much. That's so nice for you or of you. I'm so like beside myself today. So beside myself today. I hope Melissa comes back 'cause I need support today for some reason. I'm emotional, I'm upset. I'm I'm grateful that there seems to be some kind of movement, but at the same time, and some of the things that I've heard and seen, it's infuriating to me that people are willing to say, like as much as a week ago that, Cody abused Malehya. Those court documents said Cody abused Malehya, but then they're perfectly willing to say whoever this person is lying. These are the same people. Anything that's going to gloss over any wrongdoing by Daniel. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick to death of it. This man needs to be held accountable. Those text messages, I don't care if your girlfriend is into that kind of shit. It just shows you. I'm I'm going to watch this now because I need a minute. I need a minute before I get mad. Melissa, hurry up. Get back here. But anybody that I understand you have support and love for Daniel. I understand that, and he deserves it. He needs a support system. I understand that. I am the first to understand that. I really am. But you cannot gloss over this shit. And you do not call a victim a liar. It's no different. He is innocent until proven guilty in court, and you believe victims when they talk. It's that simple. And if you don't, you are not welcome here. All right. Got that out of my system. Now I'm going to play this video. There's a short ad and then we'll read the article. And I see Melissa is back. Thank you, Melissa. Just in time for me to mute myself, collect myself, and hopefully this is a story about the church. All right, here we go.
Give me one of them. Yeah? Yeah.
Breaking news for you now. The stepfather of missing Nova Scotia children, Lilly and Jack Sullivan, is now facing charges in an assault case involving an adult. Nova Scotia RCMP say Daniel Martell was arrested on Monday. Martell will appear in court again in March. He's the stepfather of 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, who disappeared from their rural home in Pictou County last May. The siblings are still missing, despite repeated and extensive search efforts.
Well, that was anticlimactic. Didn't give me nearly enough time. Hey, Ron and everybody else coming in. Whose thoughts? I wish you were all together with this news. You're right, he does need to be held accountable because he's guilty as fuck. Well, we don't know that, Crackerjack, and we're gonna be better than that, right? We're going to understand that he is charged with this stuff. And in Canada, when you're charged with something, it's because the Crown thinks that there's enough evidence to prosecute. However, he hasn't been found guilty in a court of law, but you do not call a victim a liar in my chat, please. Not even in my universe. I won't take it. I won't have it. I won't have it. I won't have it. Melissa, how's it going?
I don't know. I'm having an awful lot of
Is there an echo? Let's do some video footage investigating. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I haven't watched that, but we will watch it if you want to. We will watch it. Somebody's asking who's supporting Daniel. There are people who support Daniel. And like I said, everybody needs a support system. They do. Just like we're not going to say he's guilty as fuck because he still has to have his day in court. We are not going to call anybody a liar either. And that is the long and short of it. So, is this one of those ones that you can listen to? Damn, it's not. Okay. I know you do. I know you do. But I don't want to hear if you're going to come in here and start calling victims liars, you can go away. I don't give a shit. Don't care. You can be respectful and stay and be part of the conversation or yeah, the stepfather of Lily. They spelt Lily wrong. And Jack Sullivan, who have been missing from their Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia home since last May, has been charged with assault, forcible confinement, and sexual assault. Alison Gerard, Senior Communications Advisor with the Nova Scotia RCMP, confirmed that Daniel Robert Martell, 34, was arrested around 11:30 a.m. last Monday, on the 26th, so this past Monday. Court documents say the victim was a female and the alleged incidents occurred on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne on December 1st, 2024, about 6 months before the children vanished from their home. Martell is due in Pictou Provincial Court on March 2nd. None of the charges against him have been proven in court. Lily, 6, and Jack, 4, now 5, were reported missing from their Gairloch Road home on May 2nd, 2025. Police have conducted multiple searches for the children, but have yet to find them. Martell has been a public face of the high-profile story. He was living with their mother when the children disappeared. He has spoken with reporters on several occasions and insists he's done everything investigators have asked of him. He's also complained that he's been living under an unfair cloud of suspicion, especially in online groups. Well, that was anticlimactic. So evidence of this type of thing could be something like, and I'm not saying that's what it is, but it could be pictures. It could be um, just say, just whatever, devil's advocate here. It could be something. Muted my screen. Did you do something, Melissa?
Do I still have an echo?
Maybe because I'm not. But I just got a notice that my screen was muted. If you guys have an issue with my sound, just let me know. But anyways, it could be something like say if Daniel did something to Malehya, just throwing that out there. And the next day, in true abuser form, was sending text messages about what he had done and how sorry he was or whatever, whatnot. That would be considered evidence. It could be anything. You never know. Um, you never know. Yes, 2024. I believe you're not. I was just saying, but you wouldn't believe some of the conversations that I've had today. You know, just doing what I do, checking in on people, seeing how they're doing with all this stuff that's coming out, and the comments that I got about possible victims. It make your skin crawl. I don't understand. Mentally sick in the head. Um, Holly Gray, the only one I believe is Belynda. She already did the same thing with Cody. That's all I would say. Same thing. What? Same thing. I can say with certainty that these charges come with a year up to several. Happened to someone I know. The perp got 2 years in New Brunswick. Mm-hmm. Sure. Is it enough? I hope we find out about her abuse, giving us all a clearer picture and what Jack and Lily experienced. I can't go there. I can't go there. If this is Malehya, she still had a responsibility to take care of her kids, and I get where she is coming from because I am a domestic violence survivor. I still always protected my son. I wasn't in her shoes to judge. I believe Malehya was a victim too. I hope she has had time and support to assist her recovery and future. I listened to Belynda's account of Malehya as a mom, which ended suddenly. Yes, he was arrested and charged. Maybe, but all I can tell you for sure is they have some kind of evidence to press charges. Could be a recording. Absolutely. You never know. We don't know. Tinker, hello. There are some hateful people out there and some misguided and some so blinded by just wanting to protect and defend. Like we all know somebody who defends a person who has put themselves in a situation, but yet they're being defended, even though their lives are being ruined because of that behavior. We'll see. I mean, I can't, I won't say, but I know for a fact that it's not, these charges do not stem from Taylor. How did CPS not go into their home in December 2024? I wasn't there, Grandma. I don't know. Maybe they did. We don't know that. I'm sure they did. That's how CPS does things. Even if they don't do anything about it, they go into your home. They'll talk to your children at school before you even know they're looking at you. They'll talk to your children at school. I'm Pictou County. Anyone can make a claim of abuse and charges be laid, even with no evidence. It would be her word against his. Happens all the time. The court does it? Well, then Nova Scotia is much different than the rest of the country because Crown Prosecutor is the one that has to file the charges. And they usually don't like wasting their time. They thought that Janie heard all of that going on in there and turned a deaf ear. Unacceptable. Who did? In Canada, the police lay these charges, not the Crown. Yes, but if the Crown doesn't think that there's enough evidence to take it to trial, he's not. No, that's not. No. Find me a link to show me that. But no. I remember you showing bruises on Malehya the day possible bruises. There was the same mess with Sebastian Rogers' case, and it does justice for the children missing. I said did. It was stated. Where are Jack and Lily? Sad part is the families on both sides suffer. It's very sad justice for Jack and Lily. It's all that matters. I think the pieces are falling into place. Malehya goes into the hospital, and then charges are when they were together. She looked roughed up on the news, sad, but never an excuse to not save your children. Yeah. Okay, I'll have a look at that. Thank you. Janie has such a loud mouth on her, she wouldn't even hear what anyone else is doing. God almighty. Fair. Fair. All right, Roots. Where are you at? I was just going to read a couple of screenshots, but I think. Yeah, I mean, I I would love to have. I would love to have Daniel up here telling his side, but the only time he ever did anything like that was on the DT show, and that group was much different than any other group out there looking for answers, and I don't think I could convince every single one of you to jump on the DT train for that. So if Malehya was being abused, she had a choice to get her and the kids out, but the kids didn't have a choice. I believe they did, yeah. Hey, Mama. It hasn't been the victims not being identified, but we're going to look at this 2-minute news story, and then we'll read it. In my opinion, yeah, my informed opinion, yeah. In Canada, if the Crown won't prosecute, the police won't charge. Say it again for anybody who doesn't believe it. I think the police just go around charging people with no evidence. As a woman through hell and back and staying in what was comfortable, I'd rather a whack than a convo till my life blinked. Had Jay stayed and my kids hurt, in my opinion, I think I get what you're laying down. And when you're in a situation, and I can't speak for anybody but me, but when you're in a situation, that's just life. And I can't even relate to if Jack and Lily were being abused. But my kids were not being physically abused. So this was our life. My kids had fun with him. He would be the one to play with them in the snow, and you know, it wasn't all the way like I was too overwhelmed to be a mom. No, but I did certain things with my kids, and he did other things with my kids, and it was all that. But looking back on it, there was things that I should have been more concerned about. And it was just life. It was just the way it was. It was you go into survival mode, and it took time even after I left him for me to realize what I had just escaped from. I can't judge. I worry on Daniel's fan girls will get a bright idea to help him run. Everyone needs to remember aiding and abetting will get you locked up too. Don't be dumb. The truths the truth shall set you free. If you did it and you admit to it, they'll go easy on you. And I'm talking with anything. But if you fight it and you get caught in lie after lie after lie, they will make an example of you. I feel the energy from you, and I'm sorry for the impact it's having now. Bless your huge heart as sadness and anger have come. Read two kitties you never met. Yeah. And that's some of what gets to me. So, because I'm usually really good at compartmentalizing, I do not know these children. I wish I did. I wish the family would give me more so I felt like I knew them. This isn't like Abby and Libby, where their families were constantly giving us personal information so we could show videos of them playing and dancing and living their lives. We don't get that. And I think that's the infuriating part because we all want to know these kids. We all want to help. We're getting nothing from their family. But if Malehya is the victim here, could this maybe possibly have anything to do with why she's not talking? Is anybody willing to go down there with me? CBC report Ali was inaccurate. No comment. I don't know if we'll get there. We're going to watch another CTV one right here. She was isolated and didn't have a car, but still she could she could have got her family to come rescue her and the children if the first attack was in December 2024. I butchered that. I'm sorry if I butchered that. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Time forth, FYI, Daniel has no intentions of running as he has nothing to run from. They could withdraw charges, absolutely. There is no name of the victim relief, and there won't be. CPS went to the home in December of 2024. We've heard that. Yep, it does. That's not completely true. For example, if there is a domestic violence call, then someone is getting charged. My understanding is that is a policy. Absolutely. They might not be getting charged, but they will definitely be separated. The RCMP cannot know or hear about criminal activity without following up on it. And I'm telling you that as a fact, unless they turn a blind eye, but they wouldn't do it on company dime. They wouldn't do it on duty. Because if they got caught, that in Nova Scotia, the RCMP operate under a mandatory pro-charge and pro-arrest policy for domestic violence if officers find reasonable grounds. Is going to confine him in a 6 by 9 foot room, and he will have to ask permission to use the toilet. Maybe one day. Yeah, whatever. Whatever, Michelle. You're entitled to your opinion, but please state it as an opinion because you don't know Daniel. You don't know him. None of us do. In Ontario, there is zero tolerance for domestic violence. One party will be removed. However, the Crown will dismiss the charge at your first court date if there is not enough to hold you. Thank you. It's never that easy to see when you are stuck in the middle of it. That happens with all abuse. However, like I can't say that I don't know that I would stick around if something was happening to my kids. I can't say that. I don't know if anybody could convince me that Malaya stayed there knowing her kids were being abused because she was scared to leave. That with her family supportive and trying to help her leave. U-Haul in February. You know what I mean? I don't think that I can be convinced. Absolutely. Michelle is not Daniel. According to Daniel himself, Malaya used marijuana. Um, and I would like to say, and I don't know because I'm not an addict, nor have I ever been a user of any drug whatsoever. But to me, Malaya didn't look like a, um, what are they called? Like a hard drug addict? Like a meth addict or whatever? She didn't, because Daniel had a look about him and a tone to his skin. And I don't know a polite way to say it, but he didn't look well. Malaya didn't have that look about her. You know what I'm saying? Like she was pudgy in the face and, you know, I don't know. She didn't look like an addict to me. Yeah, it was September to March. I will find it and time will tell. That's the justice system. Yes, March 2nd will be a big day. Um, see if it, you know, gets scheduled for another trial, maybe, or charges withdrawn. But the fact is, he was charged. And because it's historical, you would have to think that they have some kind of evidence to support these charges. Has a mandatory charge even if the victim or family doesn't want it? Everybody does. They charge almost immediately, so something is up with this. Okay. If you've never been in an abusive situation like Malaya was, who's so afraid of Daniel, don't judge. Right. Have no idea. Steffa, hey, I think the country has this similar stance on domestic violence. Yeah, you guys can block people from who's who's doing. I don't want none of it. Okay, you guys go ahead and delete comments. And then if somebody's being an asshole, just boot them. Like zero tolerance today, guys. Zero. Zero tolerance. I don't care. Zero tolerance. We're not doing this today. We're not judge and jury here. We're here to cover the information. Anyways, because I'm babbling so friggin' much, I'm going to turn this news story on. Ron, note that it isn't charged of an abuse. Malaya is going to make a complaint against Daniel for this, but let him harm against the kids slide. You don't know that. We don't know that. There's absolutely no information to back any of what you said up. This could be one situation with 3 separate charges involved in one act. Or it could be 3 separate occasions between September and March with 3 separate acts. We have no idea. Zero. And Malehya could have said, I don't want to press charges because Malehya has told us all in the court documents and on the conversation with Sonny that Daniel wasn't abusive. He sometimes picked on Jack, sometimes Lily, held me down and wouldn't let me use the phone to call my mom. But he was never abusive. Maybe spending time in a mental facility, health facility, maybe she learned what abuse actually was. Mr. Hemi? Is Mr. Hemi? Looking for Mr. Hemi. Mr. Hemi. I inhale what trail hiker wastes. I'm not going that far up. I don't know what Mr. Hemi said. Anyway, sorry you guys. Getting caught up in your awesome conversation in chat. But yeah, let's be respectful to everybody and let's watch this stuff. And then we're gonna force Melissa to talk and be part of this. And my narration, go mute myself.
Well, the stepfather of Jack and Lily, the missing Sullivan siblings from Pictou County, faces charges not related to the children. Let's go right to CTV late anchor Bruce Frisco in the news center. Bruce, details pretty sparse, but what do we know?
Well, I'll tell you, Todd, as you say, very few details. We've received some basic facts in an email this afternoon from RCMP, and we obtained some court documents about an hour ago. The arrest actually happened at the start of this week. So police arrested 34-year-old Daniel Robert Martell of Lansdowne on Monday, January 26th, around 11:30 in the morning. He is facing 3 charges, serious charges: assault, sexual assault, and forcible confinement. Court documents say the victim was an adult female, and the alleged incidents occurred on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne on December 1st, 2024. That's about 6 months before the children vanished from their home. Martell, I don't have to tell you, has been a very public face of this very high-profile story. He was living with the children's mother when they disappeared last May. He has spoken with reporters on several occasions and insisted he's done everything investigators have asked him to do, but he's also complained he's felt like he's been living under an unfair cloud of suspicion, especially in online groups. The Sullivan case, of course, has made headlines right around the world. Police have conducted multiple extensive searches, including using cadaver dogs, but they have yet to find any trace of the missing 4- and 6-year-old children. There were private searches as well. We can tell you Martell has been released on a number of conditions, and he's due in Pictou Provincial Court on March the 2nd, so that's a little better than a month away. We also need to stress that none of these allegations have yet been proven in court, Todd.
Right, you are. Okay, thank you, Bruce. And Bruce will have any new information between now and 11:30 in our late update tonight.
For sure.
So that was good.
My name is Sheldon Sunshine. I'm Sugar Lake Nation. Nice.
Sorry. Melissa, can we get some thoughts from you, please?
Okay, am I still echoing now? It doesn't sound like it to me. Okay, so to solve the echo, Shar, you've got to be muted, and so does the screen. So something I notice is, they're not necessarily coming out and saying it's against Malehya, but in my opinion, and the way I'm reading it and understanding what they're saying, it is in the time frame when Malehya was still at the home. Am I correct on that?
Sorry, say that one more time.
So even though they're not saying directly that it was against Malehya, these acts, they're giving us a time frame, which is when Malehya and Daniel were still together and still living on Gairloch Road together with the kids.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay, so I have a couple questions since I've been on mute and we've been trying to figure out this echo thing. So, for the forcible confinement, if I'm understanding that correctly, that would be like the US and our false imprisonment. So he kept this adult female, I'm assuming female at this point, from leaving. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So I have a weird question because you guys over there in Canada are all weird when it comes to me. The RCMP versus the municipal police, is that like our county versus our state? What is the difference, essentially, I'm asking, between RCMP and municipal police? I forget who said it a while ago.
So municipal police are city police, generally speaking. And then you've got the RCMP, which is our federal law enforcement. So they have any, like they're the ones that police the counties. So it would be like, I think more like, not so much like the FBI in the States, but more so like your sheriffs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it'd be like our state versus county. What do you think the impact of these charges will be on visitation with Meadow? Because I really feel like, in my opinion, that with these being violent, and using that word here in quotation marks, but they're not a non-violent. I mean, they're not super violent, but I don't feel like they would let him see Meadow or continue even supervised visits with these types of charges.
So I would assume that his supervised visitations would be suspended until the outcome of these charges. But I mean, you never know. In the US, it would, or sorry, in Canada, it would come down to the types of charges, which you're right, these are all considered violent crime. And especially one is sexual in nature, and you've got two missing children. I think I think it's safe to assume that his visitation with Meadow would be suspended temporarily, at least. But I mean, there's no telling. It's possible his supervision might be a little more, because I don't know what the terms of his supervision is, right? Like I can't say for sure.
Well, see, that's one thing I was gonna say too. For they keep saying he's on a conditional release, so I can only assume and speculate that, like in the United States, if you're let out basically on bond, you can have no contact with the victim in the case. So there would be that. But what other conditions on this conditional release do you think would be there besides a no contact order?
Um, I mean, if he was charged with something, then his conditional release could be, you have to stay away from the victim, no contact with the victim. It could be depending on um the the reason behind the sexual assault charge. You might not be allowed to access the internet, or like I know that anybody that's charged with a sexual crime against a child or a minor person, they would not be able to be around kids, or do you know what I mean? It depends. Probably, you're right, Michelle, probably got some kind of restriction around drug use, alcohol, um, all that kind of. all that kind of stuff. This, just so that we're all clear, forcible confinement in Canada is an offense committed when a person without lawful authority intentionally restricts another person's freedom of movement through force, threats, or locking them in a space. It's a serious offense, often linked with domestic violence or robbery, which does not require physical touching if, for example, the person is locked in a room. Um, Penalties, it's an indictable offense. It's often accompanied by charges such as assault or robbery. Context, these charges frequently arise in intimate partner situations, example, holding someone in a room during a fight or during robberies, or locking staff in a back room, stuff like that. Um, so like in my mind, I'm thinking, could this simply be from holding Malehya down and not letting her call her mom? Absolutely. That there is forcible confinement, right? So it could be as simple as that. And if he, like, not to be vile or anything, if he touched her boob or something while she was down there, there you go. There's the 3 charges. Boom, boom, boom. In a situation we've already heard of. You know what I'm saying?
So what would be the time frame that do we know what those charges, what the time in jail given if he were convicted, what that would be?
Um, so let's see here. I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to search for just an example, maybe.
Okay, while you do that, so we've heard about, like you said, him holding Malehya down. We've heard that story. We've heard the story that he wouldn't let her call her mom or took the phone. But something I go back to with what you just read is locking somebody in a room. And it was mentioned at the start of the case that, remember, the lock jiggled on the door when Lily came in. So was that lock, and we've had a lot of discussion about what that lock was there for. Was that lock possibly there to keep Malehya in the room?
Well, that's a terrible thought, but yeah. So it says forcible confinement carries a maximum of 10 years for an indictable offense. Sexual assault can carry up to 10 years with a higher penalty or minimums if the complainant is under 16 or if aggravating factors exist. So aggravating factors, if the victim is under 16, a minimum of 1 year imprisonment applies to indictable offenses. It's terrible. So other aggravating factors, the presence of weapons, threats of violence, or a vulnerable victim will lead to more severe penalties. So it's very, very subjective to the actual situation, like what actually went down during this. But because they gave the time frame of March, or sorry, was it December 2024 to March 2025, it it makes me it makes me believe that there's probably more than one offense, more than one event, put it that way. Do you know what I'm saying? It would be more than just more than one, like the scenario that I threw out there, that all 3 charges would stem from one event. The time frame, December to March, leads me to believe that it was definitely more than one occasion.
Yeah, I have to agree. It sounds like it's definitely more than one incident. So it sounds like he could be sentenced, if convicted, what, up to 20 years? So, I mean, maybe this is their way, and hoping that filing these charges might lead to somebody opening up and saying what happened to Jack and Lily. And again, yes, these charges aren't related to Jack and Lily, like you said, but it's a step in that direction. In my opinion, it's definitely a big step towards finding out what happened to Jack and Lily.
You think? I think that, like, for me, my thought process is at the very least, this is going to give Daniel the clear message that the RCMP are not his friends. He is not completely innocent of any wrongdoing. Um, and even if the Crown decides to withdraw the charges, the fact is the RCMP were willing to arrest him and lay those charges. So it's
Yeah, I
it's
think that's big that they're willing to.
just one sec. Let me mute.
I think that is big that they're willing to lay these charges, because we've talked before. Why aren't they laying abuse charges or neglect charges on Daniel? And so I think it is big that they're willing to lay these charges and clearly have enough evidence, in my opinion, that the Crown is willing to back them up and lay them. So Deborah said, oh, where to go? Do you think that Malehya has or will continue to speak? I personally think so. I think that she must be speaking, in my opinion, to have these charges laid at all. She must be cooperating with them to do so.
I apologize. I'm looking for something to share. This I mean, you have to imagine I am getting so many messages today.
Oh, I bet you are, because I was too. And it's like I said earlier, I was in bed fighting the flu. I'm assuming the flu with a fever and everything today. So when I got up to get some medicine, I noticed that my computer was absolutely blowing up, and I'd gotten quite a few messages about it. So I can only assume that you're getting way more than I am.
Sorry, I am searching for something that I was going to share with everybody. This Globe and Mail. I mean, it's all the same at the end of the day, right? All of these articles, they all say the same thing, and the problem with it is that we don't have more information from the RCMP. It's not. Oh, here. Oh. Charges relate to an adult victim and are not connected to. Okay, so the stepfather of missing Nova Scotia siblings Lilly and Jack Sullivan has been charged with assault, forcible confinement, and sexual assault, according to the RCMP. Police confirm that Daniel Robert Martell was arrested earlier this week. Charges relate to an adult victim and are not connected to the children's disappearance. None of the allegations have been proven in court. Martell is scheduled to appear in Pictou Provincial Court on March 2nd. That's that article, and I think that we'll see more kind of trickling out. All three alleged offenses happened between September 1st, 2024 and March 30th, 2025. Martell was released on conditions and is scheduled to appear in Pictou Provincial Court on March 2nd. Just kind of glossing over all of the information, and then I'm gonna
Is that normal for Canada?
well, sorry, just one sec. What?
Is the fact that, okay, he's been arrested this week, he's out on conditional release. Is it normal for Canada to be that far out? They're saying, I forget whether you said it was February or March, but a month from now, so February, or early March. Is it normal to be that far out? Like, I feel like in the US, he would, be charged, be released, put out on conditional release, but I feel like it would be a lot sooner. Is it normal for Canada to push court dates out that far?
So if he, and I don't know, like the Daniel supporters in the chat are saying that he didn't see a judge, he didn't stand before a magistrate, or like none of that happened. He wasn't arraigned, basically. So it is the fact that he was released. It's not unusual to have the hearing date, a month in advance. What is a little unusual is him not being, which I mean, I'd have to look into that because no, they're usually arraigned and released on conditions, conditional released after that time. But if these people are saying that he didn't go before a judge or even a magistrate or a justice or anything, it's strange. And if that hasn't happened yet, it is strange for it to be that far out. However, in the grand scheme of things, a month is actually not, it's pretty quick for Canada if he's already been arraigned, which not, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm gonna dig into it a little bit more.
But if he was arrested, he would have had to see a judge or a magistrate to be released on a conditional release, wouldn't he?
Right, and being arrested and being charged are two completely separate things. You can be arrested and detained without charges. They have a certain amount of time that they have to press charges, to lay charges, but he was charged. So, in order to be released, I would think he would have to have stood before, at the very least, a justice of the peace, the very least. But I would suspect he probably went before a judge or a magistrate, even if just a Zoom meeting or something. They do that. Um, we'll have to we'll have to take a look. No, not really. Why? She's being disrespectful. Just whatever. Block her if you don't appreciate it, or if you can't, get along. Block people from your own view, and my mods will get rid of problems if they arise, when they arise. So,
But yeah, I mean, I was
he
just,
has been charged. He has been charged. He was arrested and charged, you guys. That's why this is strange. So that's why I think we don't have all the information. And let's not forget that anybody that does have information about his current situation probably got that information directly from Daniel. So,
well, I mean, just in my opinion, for him to be on a conditional release, somebody had to lay those conditions. Somebody had to say, okay, you're not allowed to have contact with the victim. You're not allowed to, have drugs or alcohol in your system. You're not allowed to do X, Y, and Z. And in my opinion, that would have to be a judge or a magistrate for that to be legal. I mean, at least in the United States anyway. So I would assume that he has at least seen a judge or a magistrate to be put on conditions.
Please hold. All right. So, yes, it is possible to be released without seeing a judge, even when charged with multiple indictable offenses in Canada, though it depends on the nature of the offenses, your criminal record, and the risks involved. Under the Criminal Code, specifically sections 498 and 499, a police officer in charge has the authority to release an accused person as soon as practicable on an appearance notice, promise to appear, or an undertaking, even for many indictable offenses. Okay. So they look at the public interest risk assessment. The police must satisfy that holding you is not necessary for public interest, which includes identifying you, securing evidence, preventing the continuation of repetition of the offense, ensuring you will attend court. Undertaking with conditions. The police may release you on an undertaking that includes conditions such as no contact orders with victims or witnesses, not attending certain locations, reporting to police, surrendering passports, following a curfew, or staying inside a specific area. When you must see a judge, you will likely be held for a bail hearing before a justice of the peace or judge if um, reverse onus applies. You are charged with an indictable offense while already on bail for another one. Public risk. The police believe you will not show up for court or that you pose a safety risk to the public or victims. Seriousness. The charge involves violence, firearms, or criminal organizations. Time limit. If you are not released by police, you must be taken before a justice within 24 hours. Right. So you can, if you are not released by the police, they must take you before a justice to determine if you can be released, where the principle of restraint dictates that release is preferred over detention. Hmm.
That's
So,
interesting. I didn't know that was possible.
yeah. And I mean, good. So it's basically, I mean, the RCMP, the police in Canada here, they are empowered with a lot of discretion when it comes to the criminal justice process. So, yeah, absolutely. So, March 2nd is his next hearing date. So, I assume that will be probably, hmm, um, I'm just looking for, um, I'm just looking for. Technically, you only have one bail hearing in Canada. You can get one shot to prove your case, and if you fail, you will be kept in custody, which can be up to 30 months in certain cases. This is why it's vital to hire an experienced bail lawyer. Um, so this isn't bail. This was, what did they call it? I can't remember. Oh, there it is. Released by police on undertaking. Peace officer, justice, or judge shall give primary consideration to the release of the accused at the earliest reasonable opportunity and on the least onerous conditions that are appropriate in the circumstances, including conditions that are reasonably practicable for the accused to comply with while taking into account the grounds referring to in the charges. Um, so, I mean, there is no contact already. It's historical DV from what we gather, I guess. March 2025 being the most recent. and there hasn't been any contact between Daniel and Malehya since May 3rd, say even May 4th, other than the odd, you know, rubbing shoulders or whatever at CPS, just passing each other at CPS. So the risk to the possible alleged victim would be minimal. I'm a little surprised in all of this that they don't take into consideration the risk of harming themselves could be, you know, taken into consideration when determining eligibility to be released by police on an undertaking. It's interesting to me. But you can go ahead, Melissa. I'm still looking for that one thing. I got distracted by your question.
Well, I think what Root said here, I think is kind of, I don't know, maybe I read too much into it, but it's notable that the March 2nd is the anniversary. I don't want to say anniversary, but the marker for 10 months of the kids being missing. Maybe I read too much into that, but somebody said earlier, you know, Daniel might harm himself, and I don't see that happening. I think he's too much of a narcissist for that to happen. He wants everybody to believe him and believe his story that he's pushing. I don't see that he would do that myself, but you know, I'm surprised, you know, like you said, that there's nothing in there about that.
No, we just read it. Like I was always, and I mean, it used to be that you know, I have heard of the release by police. That's, I mean, I thought it was for much less serious offenses, but I mean, it is what it is. I suspect he wasn't held so they can see what he does now. With the justice, well, that's what I just, am I behind in chat? Tell me I'm behind in chat because I just read it. I think we're all on the same page now, right?
You're not that far behind. I just don't think people understood what you read.
Justice of the peace. It's what I said. Not so cocky now, huh? Is that for me?
I think this definitely highlights, though, a big difference between American and Canadian justice systems is in America, it would be the judge or a justice of the peace or a magistrate that would release you on an ROR or, you know, say, well, yes, you can be released and here's your conditions. Whereas it sounds like in Canada, the police can do that. So we can't do that in America. So that's different. I've never heard of that.
I'm just going through. What are we talking about? What are we betting on? What are we talking about right now? I don't really know. We're talking about indictable offenses and released by police on undertaking, which it appears is what happened with Daniel. He wasn't seen. He didn't have to go before a judge. He didn't have to ask for bail. The police released him on conditions. I'm just, what was he charged with? So he was charged with false or forcible confinement, assault, and sexual assault from uh, dating back to March. Why am I having such a hard time with this fucking thing? September 2024 to March 2025. So,
Hey, Shar, are you able to put up what I just put in the backstage? So it
this
says
here,
yeah. It says Martell was arrested on charges related to an adult as a matter of public interest. This is being shared from the RCMP in Nova Scotia on January 26th at approximately 11:30 a.m. Pictou County District RCMP arrested 34-year-old Daniel Robert Martell of Lansdowne. He's facing the following charges: assault, SA, and forcible confinement. The charges involve an adult victim. Martell is due in Pictou Provincial Court on March 2nd. Further details will be released, and then I believe that's just the case number.
yeah, that is the file number. So if anybody has, I mean, I'm not promoting anybody calling the RCMP to request information, but if anybody has, you know, questions or concerns about the validity, you can call and confirm this information by using that file number. Michelle, I suspect that I haven't, but I suspect that some people probably have, muted you from their own view. I don't know for sure. Um, don't get me started. I've been good this live stream considering how I'm feeling. I've been nice. He got out on a promise to appear day of court. He will get his disclosure and another court date for him to hire a lawyer. He would have had to have been um read his rights, right? Daniel does not have a criminal record, which is why he was likely released for charges like, yeah, and I feel like like I said, the risk to the potential victim, alleged victim here is probably very low. I'm a little surprised that they don't take into consideration risk of harm to themselves. He already uh, displayed high risk behavior anyways. Um, but
Do you think he's a harm to himself?
intentional harm to himself? No, but I think he often engages in high risk behavior. So if he, is stressed out or spiraling and not thinking clearly, he could definitely pose a risk to himself. Like in my opinion, like look at all the car accidents and the drug use and stuff. Like, um, just a clapping seal. I think Janie is a harm to herself. Yeah, but I mean, also, who knows if anybody around him is a danger to him at this point. So, yeah, I mean, Michelle, no, he is not a harm to himself at all, really. Well, the car accidents and his behavior and his drug use tell a different story. And I have also talked to him quite a bit. So, like, I disagree with you. I'm not saying purposely wanting to go out and do something to himself, but I'm saying his regular everyday behavior is high risk. So,
I can agree with that.
all right, just really quickly, Hunter S. True Crime had a video of um the home video of the birthday party, and somebody sent it to me earlier today just because I want to I do want to watch it. So, and then we might get to the point of this, but maybe not. But I think I want to watch it a couple of times. So, why is there no anything, Hunter S? What's going on?
Liam, come sing.
I got one.
Wait,
my birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Lily. Lily. Stop, honey. Lily, go. Oh. Yay! Yay! Happy birthday.
And they happen to just get out that sliding door and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, the room, like, it was quiet. And we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911.
Very stressful. I mean, ever since the Friday morning when we noticed that the children were gone, immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there.
Police are asking anyone who was on Gairloch Road between April 28th and May 2nd to share their dash cam or other footage with RCMP.
I'm just gonna pause it there so we have that information. She was told to stop and she did. That's not autism. I have to agree with you. Like, I'm a little bit shook, Gren. I really, really am. I hope they hear her every single time they try to close their eyes. I told you I did. You sure did. I just don't know what to do with it. As a pediatric nurse practitioner, yes, it's not autistic trait.
I personally love that video.
I'm going to, what? Okay, let me. This is stupid.
Jack. Lily. Lily. Stop, honey. Lily, go. Oh. Yay! Yay! Happy birthday! Yay!
I didn't see him react to it. It looked normal, in my opinion. I don't think Jack liked stuff on his hands, though. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. Let me exit this. It's enough of that. Harley is starting to lip.
Lily was so excited in that video. It makes me smile. I know a lot of people say about her scream, but she was just so happy and excited. I mean, she was 4, give or take, when that was taken. And I don't know. It makes me smile. I think it's really a sweet video. She was just so excited for Jack. I think she was more excited than he was. But I agree with not liking things on his hands. The way he looked at his hand like, what is this? And get it off of me.
Okay, so I have got some screenshots that I am going to share today. Just because, fuck it. I just want to. And these have nothing to do with anything. It was just to give the public the community, just some other stuff to talk about instead of attack. Let's talk about some stuff. So just some context. The reason why I picked these specific ones, I had asked Daniel back in the day about him bringing up a Netflix movie because I hadn't heard that, and just people were saying, oh yeah, he wants a Netflix movie. He thinks he's going to be a movie star. So I asked him. He said, someone sent in a tip to the RCMP because I said to someone, this case is fucked. It will be a movie on Netflix. And I said, that's where the Netflix thing came from. I wondered. And then he was talking about the drones around his house. So he went out and he took a video. It was 1 second. And then another one, it was like 12 seconds long. And I mean, in fact, there are a bunch of um drones outside of his house. So to everyone, most don't want to hear it, including him. He's been so sure for so long. Then where the fuck are the kids? And this is regarding guess who? Malehya's side holds the keys. My belief, Malehya is really shutting down. I don't think they are. Darren tries to bring me down the res path. I say no. He said he tried to say to me the chief came in the house and took the kids. And we were talking about his what's his face, Durwood's post when he was threatening the RCMP. They had 7 days, whatever. And Daniel said, I hope he doesn't release the investigators' phone numbers and shit. He outed John. I said, that would be a shame. He would end up in handcuffs. Daniel said, John's a great guy. And this was my stupid, whatever, autocorrect. Durwood shouldn't be fucking with the people investigating Jack and Lily's disappearance. He was warned many times. I said, you know what? I hope he continues. Then I hope he ends up in jail for obstruction or for harassment for all the things he deserves it. The fucking problem is, what if he's right? I don't know anymore. This case is so fucked. I don't know what that one was. So about the drones that's above the road, it was a 12-second video. Man, that's fucked. Why are they doing that? It would just drive me nuts because I was like, I thought he thought that they were RCMP drones. He said there are like 50 here. When I go to Jordan's, there's 100. Drone party. I said, good Lord, I would ask them to cool it if it's the RCMP. He said the RCMP deny it to me. I said, then tell them to do their fucking job and investigate who's stalking you then. I'd be pissed. No footage ever went up online. Notice that? All those drones, not one video. Very true. So who would be doing that? Who would be doing that?
I
You know,
wouldn't put
before
it
this,
past
go ahead.
I wouldn't put it past the RCMP to have drones to keep an eye on him. I mean, personally, I don't see them doing it, for long periods of time, but I can see them using drones to keep an eye on him. A lot of people are asking if you can make that any bigger as well.
No, we can't. There's no zoom on this page. Sorry. You can screenshot and blow it up. You know, before this disappearance, my family had a respectable reputation and were well known as amazing, hardworking with big hearts. Now look, Charmaine, it's fucking bullshit. Wayne searched for days for Lily and Jack. Damn shame. I tell you, these people are a damn shame. And then this here, if y'all remember, some of you might not know, but back in November, I was asked to have Chrissy Travers on my live stream so that she could address some of the drama between her and Christine Inrig. And at first I said no. And it was Kent who was asking me. I had never talked to Chrissy in my life. It was Kent who was asking me. And at first I said, no, thank you. And then I said, well, if I can get the other side to come on and tell their side, okay, just give me a bit. So I went and I asked Daniel to reach out to Christine because I had never talked to Christine Enrique. And anyways, Daniel come back and said, I'll talk to her about it, but I can't say 100% she will. And then he came back and says she does not want to get involved or have her name associated near Daleen or Chrissy. They are trying to stir things up for no reason. So I wanted to put that out because it tells my side of the story as well, that I never said that I would let Chrissy on my live stream. I said, give me a bit to see if the other side will come up. Meantime, I don't know if Kent told her or Chrissy assumed that I'd say yes, but they went and told people, ended up being on Facebook, that I was doing a members only live. I panicked thinking that people were going to come and buy memberships to something that I never agreed to. So I made a comment on Brad Turner's post saying that it wasn't true, and that opened me up for attack from Brad Turner. So, not that that doesn't have anything to do with anything, but it's just kind of my side. And this is one of the last. I have things, very serious things, but investigators told me never to talk about it. And he never did. I'll just say that straight out. He didn't tell me whatever it was the investigators didn't want him to tell me. He didn't tell me. But I can tell you this, all the shirt and bath shit and stuff with Bradley and Daleen and Chrissy is all bullshit and has nothing to do with the case. Investigators told me that. The pink blanket is making headway now. I signed my consent form next week to have my blood done to give DNA. Major Crimes told me in no way the pink blanket has anything to do with you, Daniel. We just need your DNA because you're obviously on it, so we just need to check that box. And then I asked him about Alvin and Jenna, the people who allegedly found the first t-shirt, and he said that he hasn't seen Jenna for 6 years. She lives in Halifax. Alvin did indeed help search. He drives a truck, not a car. Charmaine, when I did my polygraph exam, all the questions were on death. They ruled out if I didn't kill them, I'm fully innocent. No questions on the disappearance side because investigator knows there's no evidence to support that theory. Malehya and her lawyers are pushing the docs off on redactment until February, which it had January. We just got them. Malehya's lawyer came after me because she thought I leaked that info to the public. I'm not even on social hardly anymore. I didn't leak the hospital info, so he got in trouble for that hospital information coming out. He's not the one that told DT that. My family lawyer urges me to step back from social media. It's affecting the court case with my daughter, so from here on out, I can't message anyone anymore. Sorry. I said, I understand. Can I share that message with so everyone knows? I wish you the best, Daniel. Keep your head up and stay away from crazy women. That was my parting advice. And he said, share if you like. The time has come for me to completely back away. I can't risk losing my baby girl forever. The thought of Jack and Lily being missing for 7.5 months weighs heavily. Not seeing my other 2 bio kids weighs heavily. And the thought of me continuing to speak out and a chance of losing my baby girl, I'm done speaking out. The day has finally come. So that's what that is. And I do have to put Harley outside, so I'm going to give the mic over to Melissa for a bit.
Well, that's scary. I don't know what to talk about. So what do you guys think about these charges? Do you think it's going to somehow lead to more charges? Because I don't know. I personally think that it's a step in the right direction. So somebody asked, Grindle, you ask who's Brad Turner? Brad Turner is just somebody on Facebook that likes to cause drama, in my opinion. So put a 1 in the chat if you think this is going to lead to more charges on Daniel, and 2 if you don't think it will. I know we're on. Harley's just like, hey, I need attention. He's just a little attention doggy. Someone once petted, right? He does. It's like, pet me. So, Deborah, you think it's a step in the right direction? I don't know. I mean, I get these aren't, neglect charges or abuse charges, but in my opinion, look at how long it took them essentially to bring these charges on Daniel, right? And this was before the kids went missing. So I feel like they're still investigating, and there's still a chance that more charges will come. I mean, just me personally. 50 drones at once, though? I don't know. I mean, I doubt that there were 50 at once, because that's a lot, in my opinion, to have all at one time. So, Addie V, you said 2. You don't think that this is a step in the right direction with more charges coming. Can you tell me why? Why you think that? So I told him, Shar, Same with you, Nana. Put a 1 in the chat if they thought that this was a step in the right direction and more charges might come, and 2 if they didn't think that this was maybe a step for more charges to come. And it looks like most of them say 1. There's a couple of 2s though.
Well, keeping with this isn't connected to the Jack and Lily case, and I'd just like to say that we have no information on the timeline of when the RCMP were made aware of these allegations. So for all we know, this could have come out after, like more recently, and like we don't have concrete information about Malehya's hospital stay or anything like that, but it could have come out as a result of counseling or anything like that. Not saying that a counselor would have said, but maybe somebody um um what's the word? Just kind of talked Malehya uh, into telling what she went through. So it might not have taken them this long to decide to lay charges, if that makes sense. It could have been something that they just learned relatively recently.
But would a counselor, if while she was in the hospital, she discloses to the counselor, hey, this is what happened. You know, he held me down. He took my phone. You know, he kept me from leaving, all this stuff. He SA'd me, all that, right? Are they allowed? Because in the United States, a counselor can only disclose information to the police if essentially they're a harm to others, right? Like the HIPAA violate, HIPAA keeps them from disclosing information for the most part. Would they be allowed to in Canada? Is that something that counselors are allowed to do in Canada? Is, oh, well, my client said X, Y, and Z in our session?
Mandated reporters for abuse on herself? I don't know about that. I mean, child abuse, I would think absolutely, but I don't know. I don't know. I've never, to be honest with you, I've never been in counseling. I don't know enough about I know our Privacy Act is far reaching and broad, and I know that you can get in serious trouble for even talking about somebody's health records or anything like that. It's not the public's business. But I don't know how the law affects um like I don't know what a counselor's ethical responsibility is. Everything is confidential. She would need to be encouraged to open up, and I think and just my speculation, but I think it's probably more to do with that than gathering evidence to support these charges, especially if he was released by police undertaking. So, you know, I think now, do I think this could open the door to more charges? I want to back that train up just a little bit and say this is probably going to open the door to more people coming forward, and maybe the sense of safety and security that certain people had as far as their personal relationships with the investigators might be on shaky ground right now, and that might make people nervous. And I think it could definitely shake things loose. And I also think that if you look back on a lot, like, history repeats itself. However, this case is very unique, in my opinion. We've got many cases where we see a suspect, which Daniel is not a suspect in Jack and Lily's disappearance, but we see them sometimes charged with other crimes that aren't related to a disappearance or a violent crime or anything like that, only to be followed up with charges related directly to that violent crime or serious crime. So I think that it could definitely shake something loose, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. And guys, I'm getting messages from my mods. Um I will remove wrenches if people if their comments are being deleted simply because you don't like a person. That's not acceptable. So we delete things that are offensive, not offensive to you because you don't like somebody, but offensive in general. Other than that, leave people alone, please.
And if you guys could put in my opinion, that'll save a lot of headache.
So I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not, but I'm gonna say it because I mean I'm done with it. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of the shit. But allegedly Cindy's done she's done an interview with CBC. Finally. So hopefully we'll see that interview coming up soon. We have absolutely no idea when the release date is, but now I heard it last week, and now I've heard it again from a different source, so I'm going to take it for what it is. And so we might actually get to hear from Cyndi Murray soon.
That would be nice since that side has been so quiet for so long. To have them actually come out and speak, I think would be great.
%80 of sexual assault happened in the home, 6 out of 100. That's alarming. Why? Because they're scared of being called a liar. They're scared of their assailant. They're ashamed. 6 out of 100, 1 in 4. 6 out of 100,
Sadly,
1
a
in
lot of
4.
SA cases do go unreported because I know in the US there's a lot of victim blaming or victim shaming. It was their fault. They shouldn't have dressed like that. They shouldn't have been out that late. And a lot of people, if you're in a relationship, they don't realize that just because you're husband and wife, no still means no. So a lot of women are like, well, they're going to say he's my husband. He had the right to do so. And that's not the case. No means no.
So why was mainstream media, Globe and Mail, allowed to speak about CPS allegations? They didn't speak about anything specific in CPS allegations, just like nobody knew enough. I'm sure they would have, but the person that came out with the information about Malehya being in the hospital, had they known more details, they would have given them. But it was just a basic, you know, saying where Malehya was. And even then, it was like, well, I don't know if it was rehab or blah, blah, blah. Just foolery to even bring that information out without knowing what they were talking about, in my opinion. I think this points more towards Malehya hiding the kids. They're going to watch and re-go over everything. They're still investigating. They absolutely are still investigating. Will Malehya tell the truth about what happened to Jack and Lily? If she knows. Um, we're being polite and we're not, I mean, I feel like I'm in a whatever. Psych doctors and doctors will ask you when you say I've been SA'd, do you give me permission to talk to XYZ for you? HIPAA is a US federal law, not Canadian law. Canadian healthcare data is governed by the federal PIPEDA. I'm not even going to try to say that acronym, and provincial and Ontario laws. Thank you. I think it's great if people think that, you know, this for some reason makes them believe that the kids are out there being hidden and alive. I think it's great for people to have hope. I really do, but I don't, you have to connect those dots for me. I don't know how one has to do with the other. Okay, I had to pop in. This is going to cascade and it's going to all come out in my opinion. Got a big job interview tomorrow, prepping, but can't not listen. Thank you, Cyndi, or Kathy, sorry. Good luck in your job interview for sure. I wonder if Malehya's recent hospital visit had anything to do with this. Maybe she gave a full confession on certain things, just my theory and my opinion. Maybe, but I want everybody to realize, like, and this is my opinion, but if that's the case, and people are saying, well, you know, maybe the RCMP know that the kids are hidden. And the fact is that if the second the RCMP learn that these kids are not missing any longer, then they're not going to be missing children. And the police aren't going to just allow it to simmer in the public. I can't see it. If someone speaks on criminal issues, the therapist may have an obligation to report it. That would depend on the privacy agreement signed before the counseling begins. Wow. And people were asking me if I thought that Daniel would come on and talk about this stuff. Absolutely not. The only person he's ever done that for is DT, and this is not DT's channel. I am not a Daniel sympathizer and I'm not a Daniel supporter. I try my best to respect everybody. But there are certain things that I don't respect, and I will not call a victim a liar. And until I'm not saying he's guilty until proven innocent, I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying the fact that there were charges laid gives me it really doesn't sit well with me. Charmaine, when Daniel said about drones over his house, was the other house Jordan's? Yeah, where there were hundreds? Yeah, it was Jordan's. Throwing shade, and yeah, any shade or suggesting a woman or a person is not telling the truth is why only 1 in 6 report. Thank you. If there's not enough evidence to support the charges, then he won't be convicted. But he's innocent until proven guilty, but she's also not a liar. It's not hard to respect both sides. I'm still curious about the comment regarding the younger girl babysitter, apparently, who went to help with the children and never left. It was stated she did everything for Jack and Lily, not Malehya. Yeah, I don't know. Melissa, I'm going to let you take over for a little bit, and I'm going to end it here soon. Unless anybody has anything else they want to talk about.
So I just want to say hi to Belynda because I see that everybody's saying hi to her, so she must be here. I don't know. I personally think this is great news as far as boosting my confidence that the RCMP is doing their job and investigating. Hopefully it'll lead to more charges. Hopefully it'll lead to somebody speaking up about what happened that night. I don't think that the charges laid are necessarily linked to Jack and Lily, but I have said since kind of the beginning that if they put Daniel in jail, somebody would start talking. So hopefully I'm correct in that. So thank you, Sierra, for posting that. I hadn't heard about the babysitter thing, so I can't really talk about that. CJTL said they had both been very quiet about the relationship, so why now, after all this time, to stop him from seeing Meadow? Hope we can hear more from Cyndi. I don't think that it would be to stop him from seeing Meadow, because I feel like if that was the agenda, it would have been said a lot sooner. I think it has more to do with possibly her being hospitalized and speaking with a trained counselor, and for her to understand what she was going through was not right and was abuse, in my opinion. I agree that it has taken a long time, but if you've ever been in a DV situation, it takes time to deprogram your brain. Like, I used to have to bring home receipts, and literally every penny had to be accounted for, and if it wasn't, I was in trouble. And that was, years ago, and to this day I still make sure I have receipts when somebody gives me money to go to the store, out of fear of being accused of taking money or anything like that. And so, I mean, I can understand that it takes a while to open up and talk, and you have to feel safe to do so. 1 in 6 report. Well, that's really sad, because no woman should ever feel, or man should feel, like they can't talk or they can't open up and talk about abuse that they're going through. I'm a firm believer when it comes to abuse that women and men both are to be believed until proven otherwise. Counseling takes a lot of time. It's a slow process, but it is so beneficial. It is. And it does. It takes a lot of time. Stockholm syndrome, it takes a lot of time to deprogram your brain from what you're so used to. I think closed documents had this stuff in it, and it has taken this long to lay charges that will stick. Possibly. Very possible. I know some came out about their relationship in the court documents. So maybe. Thank you, Shar. Appreciate your time and care for Jack and Lily. Let's hope to bring out more and find their precious children. Exactly. And that's what it's all about, finding Jack and Lily. But I do believe this is a huge step in being able to do that. Is too hard to report and easy to discredit victims. Exactly. Like I said before, a lot of women are told, why were you out so late? Why were you dressed like that? Why did you not come out sooner? And I know from experience what it's like to be told, well, why were you out so late? Well, what does being out late or dressing a certain way or any of that have to do with it? No woman or man deserves to go through that. Thank you for the well wishes for my interview. I'm so excited and nervous. Well, hopefully it goes well for you and you get the job. You agree 100%. We all have triggers. I was married in 1983 and left in 2004. Psychiatrist told me that it takes different women different time to leave. The closet is full. Yeah, I mean, it does. It takes time, and it takes a woman generally multiple tries to leave an abusive situation. I know for me, it took a while. My final straw is when my ex-husband put a gun to my head. And children, always. I'm 44 and just recently was told that my mom is abusive to me and I'm her caregiver. I thought it's just her stroke, but my siblings said that is not normal. You don't deserve that. A lot of times, people who have had strokes or even people who have like Alzheimer's, however it's said, do get aggressive. And a lot of times when a woman goes to leave an abusive relationship, that is generally the statistically the time that is, my brain ain't working, I'm not finding the word, but is the riskiest. Why did you date him? Why didn't you leave, etc.? Yeah. Why didn't you walk away? How come it took so long at the grocery store? Maybe they wanted to walk down every aisle. I'm not sure. And if you do report SA to the cops, it's shameful. Shameful, and I know for myself, it felt like I had to fight so hard to be taken seriously, for the cops don't believe me. Yeah. For me, it wasn't that I had to fight for them to believe me. But for me, I felt like I was re-victimized because I had to tell the story of what happened so many times, and so did the other person who was assaulted that day. I think Malehya was in the hospital getting off drugs and getting her mind straight, and now she has to deal with what she's done. Very possible. Very, very possible. Been disabled since 2018, but I'm fighting to keep my mortgage living alone. Canada pension disability is for the birds. When your back's against the wall, you have to stand on your feet and motor on. Thank you. Sorry to hear that, Michelle. Wow, that's terrifying. Charges don't just disappear. No, they don't. I used to drive around with nowhere to go with my 2 children. My sons are now husbands and beautiful to their wives, and one is a wonderful father. And that's just the thing. They have to break the cycle, right? There's Harley.
Well, hi. Where did you leave off? We'll just hit a few more. Yes, everybody has their past and their stories and their experience, and heart goes out to everybody. Okay, Jen, let me tell you how this plays out. Daniel pleads not guilty. No one wants the drama of testifying and the charges are dropped. Watch and see. Depends on what the evidence is, Ron. So we don't know.
Do you guys in Canada have to have a cooperating witness?
No, I mean, it depends on the evidence that they've got, right? Depends on the area of brain injury. But absolutely. Emotional damage lasts for years. Sure does. Pay attention to Sarah in the chat and the Explore Corps. And Carol, they're always posting really useful information. I'm so glad somebody agrees with me. I popped in another live today and I was there for like an hour. So much bias towards Daniel and giving Malehya a free pass. I think that stems from a desire to be gentle with a victim. There's none of the creators, and I don't know what chat you're referring to, envisioned, but there's like the one panel, the 3 or 4 of them or however many were up there, they're not giving Malehya a free pass. I mean, if they didn't have anything to say about Malehya, it was probably out of respect for believing that she could be the victim in these charges. Great wishful thinking, never gonna happen, or they wouldn't have put handcuffs on him and laid charges. I don't think it's gonna go away that easily for him, but it's gonna come down to whatever evidence they have. So, like I said, I want people to understand that there's a person out there who believes that they've been victimized by Daniel, and Daniel was charged with these crimes. And we'll find out more on March 2nd. Harley, get away from my supper, honestly. And, I don't really know that there's a whole lot more to say today. I shared some screenshots with yous. We read the articles, we watched the birthday video. I feel like it's a good time to end it, Melissa. Do you want to keep going? Otherwise I'm going to end it for today. And day is it today? Thursday? I will be back tomorrow. What are you up to tomorrow, Melissa?
I've got to go through some stuff on Devlin Tate's case that I'm working on. There is one thing I wanted to bring up. I'm trying to find it in the chat here. I see it on the screen in your live, but I'm not seeing it in the chat. So I'm just trying to find that because it's something that I wanted to talk about. Snoop's sister investigate. Can you repost what you just said there? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So do
Ron
you
Mexico
think
is not Daniel. Okay. Ron Mexico is not Daniel. I've seen it a number of times in the chat. It's not Daniel.
so? Snoop's sister investigate said, regardless, those messages he sent about graping that girl was sick, in my opinion. I agree with you. But do you think, Charmaine, given the SA charges that are laid, that those messages could be introduced in court if they did like a Cellbrite download?
No. The only way that they're going to come into court is if Taylor is subpoenaed to come into court. Otherwise, it's hearsay, and it might not even be admissible if it's not relevant to the charges, which there's to me, there's a reason why Daniel was never charged with anything to do with Taylor. So I mean, take that for what it is. But no, that is complete hearsay unless Taylor were to get on the stand under subpoena, and if they would have to establish that that had any relevance to this 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 case, which I to me, my opinion only, but I don't think it does. I get it paints a picture, it absolutely does, but prior bad acts is rarely admissible either, so.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure. I know in America it would be hard to bring in a prior bad act like that, given that it's just a message and not an actual act itself. But I wasn't sure about how Canada, because we've talked about it before, our justice systems are so different. I wasn't sure if it would be allowed.
Like I said, though, if they did establish some kind of connection or whatever for whatever reason, it would be complete hearsay and not admissible unless Taylor was subpoenaed to testify, which I can't see it. And like I said, it could be Like the evidence that we're talking about, it could be a he said, she said case. They maybe, but I don't think that they would charge him with these charges um, on he said, she said. And when we're talking about evidence and what type of evidence there could be, like can't remember if I said it here or somebody else or to somebody else, the type of evidence could very well be something like, if it was an abuser apologizing the next day via text message or something over their behavior the prior day or, something like that, that could be evidence. Pictures, anything like that could be evidence. So I do have to end it. Are you going to keep going? So I can just leave.
No, I'm good to go ahead and end it.
Okay.
I've got to take some more medicine, and
I hope you feel better soon. I do.
at this point, I'm just used to it.
That's no good either. So if we could all just keep Jack and Lily in the front of our minds and understand that this is just another step, another piece in the the huge terrible puzzle. Yes, Ron, I have a salad and it's making my mouth water because I'm so hungry. But just keep Jack and Lily in your minds and pray for answers, and we will, we're just gonna keep on talking, and more information will come out, and let's just wait till March 2nd and we'll see what it's possible that we could see some kind of a probable cause affidavit, or we won't see it, sorry, the mainstream media might be able to get their hands on it, and we'll see pieces of it if that's the case. But until then, Jack and Lily, it's all that matter. And as long as this is another step to getting answers to what happened to them, we'll get through it. We're going to get through it as a community and get through it together. And we're not going to be evil, horrible people. And thank you, April and Helicopter Grandma, Brenda Wiley. I appreciate it so much. And Anastasia, thank you very, very much. Go away. Get out. Anyways, everybody have a good night. Do you have anything else, Melissa?
No, just prayers that we find Jack and Lily and we get answers. Belynda deserves answers. Jack and Lily deserve to be found and brought home and get justice.
Agreed. Okay, everybody. Thanks again for being here. Have a good night. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.
We're going down.